say we're dream makers. I have a bunch of taglines for us, but like you actually get to be a part of that transformation within a community, or seeing a business owner start, or if they are established and like grow, or even sell their business and keep it within the community.
It's great to have you here. I know I've very much enjoyed getting to know you and witness your leadership of the Small Business Development Center for New York State over the past few years, and I'm excited to share your story with the world and get your view on how things are going in small business generally, what you're seeing happening in the world today, and your vision sort of long-term for the organization that you lead and for the future of small business. So welcome.
Yes, thank you, Noah. It's always a pleasure to speak with you, to meet with you and discuss small businesses and what's going on in the environment. You're also one of our New York, SBDC small business, our advisory board member as well. And so we have like a lot of interaction throughout the year on how we can really support the communities across New York State. So thank you also for your service there on the advisory board. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's such great perspective for me in the work that I'm doing with trying to bring innovative capital solutions to Main Street with GoodBread. And so that's, I thought we built a great relationship when I was at Upstate Capital, and you were helping with coaching and judging the small business competitors at the business plan competition. And so I love how life continues to spiral.
Our relationship continues to evolve to support each other.
Exactly. Yeah. So obviously, you and I have talked, but I'd like for you to share a little bit about how you became the state director for New York State Small Business Development.
Yeah, so the New York SBDC, and for those that may not know, the New York Small Business Development Center, that's what the acronym stands for, is a program that is a federally funded program by the U.S. Small Business Administration and partnered with state and local and private sector dollars. So it's a public-private partnership. And so we're going on 41 plus years as an SBDC program here in New York State. And so a longstanding legacy and beginning in 1984. But I came on, I would say about going on 4 years now with the SBDC program here in New York. Previously was with Pennsylvania, working in programs and policy. So a lot of the program structure, the development, the professional development, or the development of programs, the professional development of the staff, and all of that. And then I worked in grants and sponsored programs previously on the university side. My background's accounting and finance and economic development. And so, I think when the opportunity arose in the sense of New York looking for a new state director, as I mentioned, it's a very long legacy standing program and did great work over the years. So they've only had one state director, an interim director, and then me coming on board. So that's kind of how it all started. They had reached out based on my work in Pennsylvania. We're hosted by SUNY System Administration. So that's our partner fiscal agent and our host at the state level. And a lot of that integration where they were going with, new chancellor, new departments and divisions that they were creating, and then an opportunity to revamp the leadership at the SBDC, kind of everything fell together at that time. So I'm going on 4 years here as a New Yorker.
What do you love about it? I want to know what you love and also what's hard.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, so 40 plus year program. So you have like lots of seasoned expertise, knowledge, the people and the passion of those individuals that want to, I say we're dream makers. I have a bunch of taglines for us, but like you actually get to be a part of that transformation within a community, or seeing a business owner start, or if they are established and like grow, or even sell their business and keep it within the community. So, 40-year-old program, it's a nationwide program. Every state and US territory has an SBDC. But I love the fact, that's what I love about it, is that I can walk, especially if you're like in a downtown mom and pop shop type of community of like a Main Street. even not even a main street in a rural area, you can go and drive by and see the transformation of these small businesses that actually help employ individuals in their community. They're creating a service or our product and offering that for their community members and the residents there. And I think it's important to, like, all of those great analogies and sayings of backbone and the lifeblood of, the economy. And it's not just nationally, a lot of these businesses are doing very competitive market in the global sphere as well. And so I think that's the part that I love, is that even if it's a very small part, my team is part of that transformation to help someone's dream come true. And so that's the cool part.
Yeah. That is very cool. And what's hard? Like, what's the
hard?
I would imagine with history with one leader, except for you, maybe has its challenges in addition to its benefits.
No, I would say there's two things: uncertainty, because nothing is certain. That's just life. No matter what, it's, you never know what's going to happen. But I say people are always the most complicated part of most equations, because you all have your own backgrounds, experiences, knowledge, needs and wants, emotions. And so it's great because you have that different thought tank or different ways of thinking and mindset that come to the table to help something, get accomplished. But it also can be difficult at times because everyone has so many different, ideas and feelings. So I say, like, it's balancing the people and it's balancing out, what could happen the next day, which we don't know.
You never know.
I would say those are the most challenging aspects of my role, is trying to make sure I keep everyone kind of level-headed and communicating and remain communicative, remain positive, and trying to steer the vision and our mission and have people focus on that, but also managing all of these different personalities too. Yeah.
How do you think your own personal background, your own personal identity influences your leadership style?
I would say my leadership style is like servant leadership. I wouldn't ask my team to do anything that I'm not willing to do or haven't done. I feel like, one, from experience, and two, from, like I say, in an empathetic sense of walking in someone's shoes and understanding. Like, I've advised before, I've done finance and budgeting before, I've done marketing and comms. Probably most of the roles in this network and this organization as a whole, I have done just in some capacity. So to say, like, okay, I kind of understand a little bit, of course times change, but where they're coming from, and be able to speak directly to what their needs or some challenges they have, I think is helpful. So I would say servant leadership style of working in the trenches with my team. Sometimes that's hard when you're being a visionary and a worker bee. You have to pick one, pick a hat for the day sometimes, or for the hour. But that's my style, is, I'm not a micromanager. I'm not going to hover, but I'm going to be with you in that journey. So, and I would say my background, very just structure, framework, accounting, finance, economics. But I come from a military family. My father, a lot of my uncles, but then also my mother. Religious background, I think on spirituality and our religion is like servanthood and servant leadership is like kind of just on both sides.
Back to the SBDC, are there recent stories of businesses or successes that have happened that you feel excited about, that you sort of stick out in your mind of recent past?
Well, so every year, so when I came on board, I implemented, or I changed kind of the process. So every year we were doing a client award ceremony. And we're just ended our third one, which I switched into a roadshow. And so with that being said, we work with about 20,000 plus clients, not even counting the educational programming aspect. And so each year I have our centers, I have 20 centers across New York State that actually, we have categories and we try to change it up a little bit each year. I think they're adding more categories each year, so it kind of keeps me busy. So we started off with 8, we had 10 in 2024 and 12 this year. So my favorite part, and like you said, looking at success stories is that portion of it, of the client roadshow, because it's the manufacturer of the year, the women-owned business of the year, the inspirational business of the year, the community leader, and they have all these different categories. The centers pick and nominate different small businesses, small business owners. And then we have our committee that goes through all of the nominations, and then I look at, how they scored and we choose our winners for the year. And so I had 12 this year. So it's a very kind of a big deal, I'd say, to be a statewide winner when we're working with all of these different types of different types of businesses. So I would say on that road trip, all of them were fantastic of our 12 winners. But the Phoenix Award winner of the year is a new category this year, and it's very fitting for the story, but also it's crazy. So the manufacturing, it's Martin's Pretzels, a bakery in North Country and region, and unfortunately the bakery had a fire in 2020, and kind of rising from the ashes is 10 times better, or I wouldn't say better, but moving forward and growing and expanding.
Wow.
And so that was so fitting for them to actually win that award and be nominated and win that award. Because it's
They're
a
a
great,
literal phoenix. They're a literal phoenix.
yes, they're a little Phoenix. So it's they got their Phoenix Award, but that's an example of the great successes that I see. And now they're expanding in different global markets. They're working with distributors, and it's 4th generation business. So the great grandson has it now, and he's very young. I don't know if he's millennial or Gen Z, but he's has all these new things he wants to do with KPIs and working with his team. So I think that's great. Yeah.
That's awesome. And just in terms of core competencies of the SBDC at large, for other business owners that might hear this and might not already have an SBDC advisor, what sorts of things would they come to the SBDC for? Are they starting out? Have they been in business a while?
Yes. So, so that's the great thing about the SBDC. So one, it's an ecosystem. So we have for-profit and nonprofit partners. So if we can't do it in-house, we refer clients to those needs and services, like for instance, accounting or legal services, insurance, things of that nature. But what our key focus areas in our mission is, are the one-on-one advising, which is free and confidential, the training, educational programming, and market research. So those are our key pillars on what we do for services and programs. The other aspect that's really cool about the SBDC is that we work through the whole life cycle of a business. So it can be someone in idea stage, someone that's growing their business and looking at new markets or government contracting, or just scaling and expanding, to succession planning and exit planning. So business transition. So as you were asking, what are we seeing more of? I would say about 25 to 75%. It's grown on the established markets, especially since the pandemic, where we were a key partner with SBA on PPP and EIDL. So a lot of the established businesses were getting to know what an SBDC was and what we do as an organization. And so I would say our established kind of portfolio has grown more, but we still have, a large portion of our businesses that are startups.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just generally, sentiment wise, what do you have a sense from your vantage point? How is small business in New York doing? There's a lot going on. The federal government, obviously, tons of changes.
Yes.
Tariffs have been hugely impactful for businesses of all sizes. generally is what's the sentiment and are a bunch of them going to go out of business? Have they already gone out of business? Are people thriving? Like, what are the dynamics like from your
Yeah,
view?
the dynamics, we saw an uptick. So it's kind of like these things, I don't want to say seasonality, but you see the uptick. So during the pandemic, you saw both the closures for those that were not going to make it to the ones that pivoted very well, and then the new business starts. So we saw an uptick in new business starts because those were the individuals that were losing their job or not, or just thought about a different aspect of, I don't want to go back after the pandemic, so I want to start my own venture. Now we're seeing that uptick again with a lot of the government shutdown, and the layoffs and furloughs and cuts at the federal level, where more individuals are wanting to start a business and looking at that. So kind of seeing that uptick again. I would say what we're seeing, or what is always a concern, no matter what state you're in, is going to be access to capital, workforce development, apprenticeship, internship, those kind of things of just labor, the workforce, and getting skilled, and people that want to also have, or people that also have soft skills of like showing up on time and dressing appropriately and communicating. So that's what we're seeing. And of course, regulation, taxes are always like a big thing, no matter what state, especially in New York State. So I would say those are the top three things that I'm seeing. But also like a slight uptick of those that are looking to start their own business because of just their full-time or part-time employment is no longer.
I'd say in my experience with working with business owners and knowing a lot of business owners, some people are great at working with advisors and other people are not. And I wonder if you have like some personality traits, like what makes a good client from a personality trait perspective for the SBDC, and vice versa. If somebody gets matched with an advisor who isn't a fit, does that happen? And I would imagine people are people, so it's very human.
Yeah, that happens. I'll answer the latter question. When that does happen, working with the center, the regional director will, do a match. We try to match by geographic location and expertise. So, if you're looking for capital in Mid-Hudson or Hudson Valley region, which centers serve that territory, and then who has that expertise. And, for instance, it might be a former lender that is now at that center as an advisor. So that will be a good fit. But maybe you're just not meshing. So then it might be someone else at that center where the regional director kind of makes that introduction of, we're trying to meet the client where they are, always trying to meet them where they are. And like I said earlier, that could be where it's not even an expertise we have in-house and we refer them out. In the sense of like what would make a great client, I would say in general, no matter what industry, what stage of business, whether they're startup or expanding their business or closing their business, is to be vulnerable and coachable, which are two very hard things for most people to do, is to listen to what you possibly are doing wrong. I wouldn't say wrong, but areas where there's, challenges that you need to do work to accomplish those goals. But also be vulnerable in sharing that I didn't do this, or I forgot how to file my taxes, or whatever the case may be. You have to share that information for your advisor who is not biased. I think is a great thing, is to have someone that's on your side that's unbiased and wants to see you succeed. So I think that's, if they come in with that mindset, hopefully they get something great out of the engagement.
Somebody unbiased and who really wants to see you succeed. I feel like there's no better person for a person like me.
Well, yeah, you have family and friends that are either not going to tell you the complete truth and say that everything's great, or they're going to be completely negative and not see your vision. So having someone that has the knowledge and expertise and has worked with different types of businesses to be able to give you some guidance, I think is a great fit, and someone that's completely external.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Well, it's been great talking to you. I'd love, just as a sort of in wrapping things up, is there anything you want to share about sort of the future of small business in New York, or about the organization that you're particularly excited about?
I mean, overall, in general, as we were talking about uncertain times and, what's going on, I think our our key and what the network is really focused on is continuing to serve our small businesses and all New Yorkers across New York State. As I mentioned, we have 20 centers. So if you have, if there's a business out there that's either starting or trying to grow, look for your local SBDC at nysbdc.org, and be able to find your local SBDC based on your needs. But yeah, we're looking forward to continuing to help people strive for success, accomplish things, and like I said, continue to make dreams come true. It's a very hard environment to be in by yourself and feel like you're a lone entrepreneur. But there's peer-to-peer groups. But then, as I mentioned, within this network, you have people to help you coach you throughout the that time period. And there's clients that they leave and they come back. You get what you need at that time. And then, some years later, you come back in the system. We are here for you. There's clients we work with for 20 years, clients we work with for 2 hours. So it's all up to you and your journey.
Yeah. I love that concept of just meeting the business owner, the small business owner where they are, meeting that entrepreneur where they are with what they need. And a lot of that echoes with how I think about building access to capital through GoodBread too, that just meet people with, where they are with what they need.
Correct.
So also great to see you. Thanks again for being here today.
Of course. Thank you so much, Noah.